Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we hear from Senate President and Clay County native Robert Stivers about what makes Kentucky politics unique. And one local sheriff's department is inviting the community to a training simulation to prepare them for dangerous situations.
And all is quiet right now on live pinpoint Doppler radar, but not too far off towards the west is our next round of active weather, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A flood watch is now in effect through tomorrow evening for much of the region as more heavy rain could fall overnight. Meteorologist Eric Dean has the latest on this first alert weather day. Eric.
That's right, Steve. The first alert weather day continues today and into the day on Friday as that flood watch has been extended until 8 p.m. There's the latest, and the counties haven't changed since yesterday. So you can literally draw the line from Estill County to Wise County and all the counties south and west in the viewing area. That is where that flood watch is in effect again until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. All right, here's the latest with live pinpoint Doppler radar. All is quiet right now across eastern Kentucky for about the next hour and a half. As you see off towards the west, we do have a line of showers and thunderstorms pushing through. It's to the east of Louisville right now, pushing its way towards Bowling Green as well. You can kind of see it starting to bow out a little bit, so heavy wind will be one of the main factors with this. But right now, we find temperatures in the 80s and 90s, and you can tell where it's rained. Look at Louisville, 73 degrees, 90 in Lexington, 91 Somerset, 88 in Hazard, and then upper 70s and low 80s towards Wise. Now, tonight we'll see overnight lows in the 60s and 70s, and there will be a day where we will have a somewhat decent day on the 7-day, and I'll tell you when in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. One of the 3 suspects charged in a Floyd County murder case is now out on bond. Dr. Michael McKinney was released on a $250,000 bond after he appeared in court yesterday. Dr. McKinney, his son, and another man were arrested in connection with the death of Amber Spradlin. Court officials say Dr. Michael McKinney will be incarcerated at home. A Pike County man is facing charges after a woman told police she was grabbed by her throat and pinned against a wall. Officers with Pikeville PD went to a home on 213 South Mayo Trail Tuesday. After not being able to get a hold of anyone there, they went to another home nearby. That's when police found the victim. She told them 45-year-old Clinton Cook was drunk and grabbed her by the throat. He was later arrested but released on a $5,000 cash bond. In Pulaski County, police are looking for a suspect involved in a theft case. Here's a look at the person they are looking for. They say they arrived at a property on East Racetrack Road last week and took packages that had been delivered earlier that day for those living there. They say the person then got into the SUV you see right there on your screen. If you have any information about this, you can contact the Sheriff's Office at 606-678-5145. In West Virginia, police are asking for help finding a missing man. Take a look at your screen. Officials with the Mingo County Sheriff's Office say John Newsom left work yesterday evening and has not returned home or been in contact with anyone. They say he drives a 2010 Toyota Camry that is blue or teal colored. If you have any information about this, you can contact the Sheriff's Office at 304-235-8551. The election cycle this year has certainly been unique and historic, to say the least, and politicians in the Commonwealth are watching closely. WYMT's Madison Carmouche sat down with Senate President Robert Stivers today to talk about what makes Kentucky politics different.
In 2013, Senator Robert Stivers became president of the Kentucky Senate, but he says 2024 is already a year to remember.
It's not a political scenario or atmosphere or universe that has been seen for probably 50 years.
Stivers says this is because Americans are entering the pivotal conversations before decisions are made.
People didn't even know if we were in session most of the times. Now they know what we're actually doing in real time in session because they're watching it, they're seeing it because of technological changes.
In the previous legislative session, a bipartisan budget of $136.7 billion in state and federal funds was passed.
Division sales And what I would tell you that if you look at what most bills do, there's probably only a handful of bills that aren't almost totally agreed upon.
Stivers says media showcasing constant infighting in national politics does not represent how Kentucky politics operate.
And I think when you look around, when everything is said and done, I think the system in the state of Kentucky is much better because we're citizen legislators.
He adds seeing colleagues on a personal level is what builds personal respect in the legislature. In Corbin, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Stivers says while funds are allocated, it takes time to get boots on the ground and to see some of that funding in action. Ever since President Biden announced he was dropping out of the 2024 presidential race, all eyes have been on Vice President Kamala Harris, who quickly announced she is seeking the nomination. Kentucky has been under the spotlight as Governor Andy Beshear is just one potential VP pick being vetted by candidate Kamala Harris's team. Governor Beshear even received a shout out alongside Minnesota Governor Tim Walz from the United Auto Workers Union.
And for Governor Beshear to be doing what he's doing now, putting Kentucky on the national map, letting people know what an outstanding political leader we have in this state, I think is tremendous.
CBS News reports a pick by Harris is expected by Monday. It's also expected that the vice presidential candidate pick will appear with Vice President Harris at campaign events in battleground states next week. Congressman Milo Rogers has his own take on the possibility of Vice President Kamala Harris becoming president and Beshear as VP. Here's part of what he told me this afternoon.
Well, the real problem is Kamala Harris extending the policies of the Biden administration and hers. That's set our country into crisis after crisis. So I think the real problem is her.
You can find my full interview with the congressman on our website, WYMT.com. The Floyd County Sheriff's Office is preparing for its annual Milo Training, inviting churches, businesses, and more to learn how to handle the unexpected. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the training.
Preparing for the impossible by practicing with the interactive. The Floyd County Sheriff's Department is inviting community partners to join in a training all about responding, reacting, and retreating.
A situation can arise that you need to de-escalate that situation, or you may have to increase that situation. Increase by meaning use lethal force. So my job for the past several years I've taught this class is to try to teach you how to more than ever de-escalate a situation.
The Milo, or Multiple Interactive Learning Objective, is on loan from the Kentucky Association of Counties, providing recorded situations to simulate emergencies, from active shooters to other dangerous scenarios, allowing trainees to respond with laser firearms and conversational components.
It's a class for everybody. I mean, if you have never touched a firearm in your life, you've never been in this situation, it's something you can learn. If you're a church security member especially, is how to watch for situations, how to alleviate a situation, how to avoid a situation.
Deputy Randy Powers says the importance of preparing cannot be understated, something fallen Deputy William Petrie always shared with his trainees before he was killed in the Allen ambush.
Deputy Petrie and I was teaching this class, and I always used his words, and it was one class that we had. He said, don't ever think it cannot happen here. It can. And don't ever think it's never going to happen here. It's if and when.
So Powers continues to train the community in his memory, hoping to see more people planning for every possibility. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The training is set for August 5th through the 15th and is open to surrounding counties as well. If you are interested in the training, you can contact the Sheriff's Office at the number you see there, 606-886-8965. One Southern Kentucky Police Department has found its next police chief. Officials with London PD say Jerry Holland has been tabbed as the department's next chief. Holland has served in a variety of roles throughout his time as a first responder, and several family members have also been involved in public service. He takes over the position following the retirement of Chief Chuck Johnson. And the city's fire department has also found its next fire chief. Officials say Donnie Hale has a career spanning more than 30 years. Hale began his career as a volunteer firefighter, and he has also served the London Fire Department in many roles. This announcement comes after the retirement of Fire Chief Carl Hacker.
All right, take a look here at the weather headlines over the next several hours. First of all, wet start to the month of August. We have 90s in the forecast and one day of somewhat cooler weather. We'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes.
And water quality has been a topic of conversation since the Paris Olympics began. That may make you wonder how safe it is to swim in the water here at home.
Visit link